Paz, the Nordic Weaver of the Northern Lights. Tonight, we're going north, further than any road can take you, to a wooden hall built into the side of a snow-covered hill in old Norway. The fire there has been burning for 1,000 years, tended by someone who is still awake, still working, long after the rest of the world has gone quiet. Let your breathing slow to match the pace of falling snow. There is no hurry where we are going. Nothing is expected of you there except rest. Come inside, out of the cold, and let the heavy door close softly behind you. The hall smells of pine smoke and warm wool. You notice that first, before your eyes even adjust to the low amber light. The particular sweetness of birch logs burning slow, and underneath it, something like snow itself, cold and clean, drifting in from the world outside. The walls are timber, dark with age, carved along the beams with spirals and long-necked birds that seem to shift when the firelight moves across them. You are not afraid of this place. You were expected. She is sitting at the far end of the hall, at a loom taller than she is, built from pale birch wood, polished smooth by decades of hands. This is the weaver. Her hair is the color of frost on dark water, braided back with a single blue thread, and her sleeves are pushed up past her elbows, so they will not catch on her work. She does not look up right away, watching her hands instead, and her hands are doing something you have never seen hands do before. She is weaving light. The threads on her loom are not wool, not exactly, though they move like wool. Soft, catching the fire's glow, trembling faintly the way a held breath trembles. They are green mostly, a green like the inside of a wave, but shot through with violet and a pale rose that appears only at the edges. The way the last color of sunset appears only if you know to look for it. As she passes the shuttle back and forth, the threads seem to breathe, lengthening, curling upward, off the loom entirely, rising toward the smoke hole in the roof, where the night sky waits, black and enormous and scattered with stars. You realize, slowly, comfortably, that this is where the aurora comes from. She gestures for you to sit, and there is a low bench near the fire, already piled with sheepskin, as though it has been waiting for you specifically. You sink into it. The wool is thick and a little rough against your hands, warmed through by the fire, and you find yourself running your fingers along it without meaning to, the way you might worry a stone smooth in your pocket. Somewhere behind the loom, a kettle rests on the coals, and the smell of something spiced, cardamom, maybe, or dried rosehip, begins to reach you in slow waves. I dye the threads myself, she says, and her voice is unhurried, low, the kind of voice that seems to come from somewhere deep in the chest, from glacier melt and crushed lingonberry and the ash of juniper wood. It takes all day to prepare enough for one night's weaving. You ask her, or you think you ask her, how long she has been doing this. She smiles without stopping her hands. Longer than there have been names for the colors. The shuttle moves again, left to right, right to left, and each pass adds another thread to the shimmering length rising toward the roof. You watch the pattern take shape. It is not random, though it looks like it should be. Slow waves fold over each other in it, the way water folds when wind moves across a lake at dusk, and here and there the green deepens almost to black before opening again into brightness, like a long inhale before a laugh. Every night is a different weave, she tells you. Tonight's is slow. Some nights call for something quicker. Sharper colors, more movement, Tonight, though. She lets the sentence rest there, unfinished, and somehow that feels complete. You don't need her to say more. Understanding, in the loose, drifting way you understand things right before sleep. That tonight's weave is slow because you needed it to be. The fire pops softly. Outside, you can hear wind moving over snow, a sound like a held note. And further off, so faint it might be imagined, the low breathing of animals bedded down for the night. Reindeer, perhaps, curled together somewhere past the tree line, their thick coats holding in the day's last warmth. A wolfskin lies folded near the door, not as a trophy but as a blanket, the kind of thing you might wrap around your shoulders if you stepped outside to watch the sky properly. You find yourself wanting to help her, and she seems to know this before you say it. She nods toward a basket at her feet, filled with spun thread in colors you don't have names for. Not quite silver, not quite lavender, somewhere between the two, like the moment just before dawn when the sky hasn't decided what it wants to be yet. Hand them to me as I need them, she says. You'll know which one. And you do. It surprises you how naturally your hand finds the right thread each time, how the weight of it in your palm seems to match some rhythm you didn't know you were keeping. She takes each one without breaking her pace, without looking, trusting your hands the way you might trust a familiar voice in the dark. The work has a rhythm to it now. Pass, catch, pull, release, and you find your own breathing settling into the same rhythm, slow and even, matched to the loom's quiet clatter. Above you, through the smoke hole, the finished threads have gathered into something vast. You can just see the edge of it from where you sit. A green curtain drawn slowly across the stars, folding and unfolding, bright in places, ghost pale in others. It moves the way calm water moves, asking nothing of you. It simply is, working quietly beneath everything else, the way your own heartbeat simply is. Do you ever grow tired of it? You ask her. Weaving every night? She considers this, still working, her hands never pausing. Some nights it feels like rest, she says. The weaving itself. There is nothing to decide once you begin, only thread after thread, one after another, until it's done. I think that's why I've kept doing it so long. It asks so little of me, and gives so much back. You watch the colors rise and settle above the roofline for a while, thinking about all the things in your own life that ask so much and give so little, and how different this whole feels. This small, warm, patient place, where the only task is to hand over the right thread at the right moment, and trust that it is enough. The kettle begins to hum, low and rounded, and she rises at last to pour 2 cups of something dark gold and fragrant. She presses one into your hands, and it warms your palms all the way through, spiced and a little sweet, tasting faintly of pine and honey. You drink slowly. Your eyelids have grown heavy without your noticing, weighted the way wool is weighted with melting snow. You can rest now, if you'd like, she says. The weaving doesn't need 2 pairs of hands. It never really did. You don't argue. You let yourself sink back into the sheepskin, cup still warm between your palms, and watch her work through half-closed eyes. The shuttle continues its slow journey, left, right, left, and above the hall, the sky keeps unfolding its long green ribbons, brightening here, softening there, never in a hurry, never asking to be finished by any particular hour. It will still be weaving long after you've fallen asleep, the same as it was weaving long before you ever arrived. The fire settles into embers, glowing steady and low, and somewhere outside, A soft wind moves the last of the snow off the roof in a whisper you barely register. The hall holds its warmth around you, the way cupped hands hold water. You don't have to stay awake for the ending, because there isn't one. Only more thread, more slow color rising into the dark, more quiet. The last thing you're aware of is her voice barely above the crackle of the fire, humming something low and wordless in time with the shuttle's rhythm. A tune with no beginning, and, you suspect, no end, the same as the lights above the hall, spinning threads of color into the night. For as long as there are people below who need somewhere soft to rest their eyes, you may already be half in that hall yourself, wrapped in sheepskin, listening to a shuttle moving slow and steady through the dark. That's exactly where you're meant to be. I hope the weaver's colors are still drifting somewhere behind your eyes as you settle in for the night. Come back whenever you'd like more quiet. There will always be another thread waiting to be handed over. Good night.